Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. Today's a 2-for-1 special. One of the things we're going to do today is, what went wrong with Miss Wizard's car? This is the first issue we've had on this one. And the second is a vehicle I got at an auction, an acquisition. It's crazy. It's a crazy Hoovie buy. Hoovie did buy it for me. So without further ado, let's get started. So in a previous video, we've revealed to you guys Miss Wizard's new ride. It's a 2015 Land Rover Discovery Sport. It's been a trooper, it's been a great vehicle until yesterday. I'm in the shop working, doing my thing, and I get a call from her that her low coolant light is on. And I thought, well, maybe just a bad sensor or something, who knows. And she pulled over and it was a little low. She also smelled antifreeze, is what she says. I told her if there wasn't a huge puddle on the ground and the reservoir was still full, she could go home. And she did. When I got home, I checked it out, I looked around, it was very hard to see in there. But I got it on the lift this morning, I drove it to work, got all the plastic covers off, and it's a failed water pump. Luckily, this engine is not a Land Rover engine, it's a Ford EcoBoost 2.0, just like on a Fusion or an Escape or something like that. I did quote and look up a Land Rover part. It's going to be well over $100 for the water pump, which isn't that bad. But when I looked it up as a 2015 Ford Escape 2.0, all of a sudden the water pump is no longer over $100. It's now $40. It's a huge jump down in price. And it's the same part. I didn't have to special order it. I didn't have to wait through some exotic, crazy company up in New York or something to get it done. I had the part here from CarQuest, is who I use because they're literally half a block away from my shop. I can click on my computer, order a part, and in 10 minutes there's a man standing there with the part. Or a woman. I'm not sure, whoever comes. But anyways, I got it fixed. It's leak-free. Miss Wizard gets her car back same day. That's one of the advantages of being a part owner of a mechanic shop. I quoted this job out just to look. And if I were to do this for someone, it would have been about $500 to put this water pump on. A few hours of labor, got the parts markup on $100-something water pump, and sales tax and everything else, will be a $500 job. She'll be able to drive home today. We spent $40. So that's how I'm able to afford to have these kind of cars, is because when something goes wrong, it's not thousands of dollars. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I just say, yeah, well, whatever, we'll figure it out, and it's cheap. Usually get her back on the road. So, and that's one of the pluses of being a mechanic. Some of you are mechanics or backyard mechanics or professional mechanics out there, and you know you've saved your family or significant other a lot of money by being able to fix it yourself. You can go from a $1,000 repair to $200. 80% reduction in cost just from knowing how to do it yourself. So that's enough about Mrs. Wizard's vehicle. I hate that something went wrong so quickly, but if that's all it is, I'll take that any day of the week. That's great, no problem. New water pump, out the door, back on the road. So this one's all done, ready to go. Let's go check out my crazy auction buy. So I'm in the shop yesterday also working, and Tyler sends me a text. Hoovie of Hoovie's Garage, if you don't know who that is. And he sends me this picture. He says, I'm at auction, Wizard. Here's a TDI Beetle with 260,000 miles on it, and it runs perfectly, and there's not a single warning light on the dash. And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, if you could get it less than 1,000, I might be interested. I could do something with it. Or, anyways, he texted me a few hours later. He got it for $800 and drove it all the way from the auction to his house and all the way here. No trouble. There is some issues with this car, but it's kind of weird. We're going to take a look at it today. We're going to go drive it. We're going to put it on the lift. I don't know anything about this car. What you saw in the picture is all I knew about the car when I said go for it, pull the trigger. Here it is, sitting in the shop. That's life when you're friends with Tyler Hoover. This kind of stuff happens. So without further ado, let's go drive this thing real quick and then put it on the lift and see what I got. You guys will share with me together about what did I get for $800? Is it a piece of crap? Let's find out. Here we go, guys. Started right up. It's been sitting all night. It does have a light on because the engine's cold, but that's normal. Looks kind of rough up here. Wow. The sunroof's all jacked up. Tyler says it makes a weird whining noise under loads, so we're going to find out. Listen to that here. Oh my goodness. It sounds like a lemon grab from Adventure Time. Oh my goodness. Sounds like a cat's trapped in there, guys. I can tell you what that is off the top of my head. It's the turbo. The vanes are scraping on the side of the turbo housing. Well, let's turn around and get it back to the shop and put it on the lift. Man, that sounds horrible. My heated seat works though. It's warming me up. Well, we learned a little bit about this just going to drive it. Just from the sound of it, I know from experience that's a turbo. I have no question in my mind. But we're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to take a look at this thing and see what's been done, what hasn't been done, and what needs to be done. So, look at it, guys. It looks so sad. It's a sad little Pikachu, like Tyler called it. It's kind of like those Humane Society commercials that you watch, and they have these sad little puppies and kitties, and you just say, oh, you need to breathe some life back into this thing. Poor little kitty. You know, it's kind of a sad. I feel sad. I really do, guys. I feel sad for it. It wants to run right. Let's take a look under here, guys. That's not being held on properly. There's the little 1.9 turbo diesel. Amazingly, it runs good. Shifts good, everything. We did hear the squalling of the turbo. There's a little bit of seepage around the valve cover and whatnot, but it's got 260,000 miles on it. It's not that bad. Looks like timing belt and water pump at 110,000 miles and then again at 190. It's due for another one. It's at 260. Looks like the injector pump's fairly new, guys. Look at the CAD plating. All the bolts are shiny and new. Probably explains why it runs so good. So I see this little EGR valve here been replaced. I see the fuel filter's been replaced. It looks fairly recent. Based on what I'm experiencing and based on what I'm seeing is, I can tell you the story right now. Somebody had this car. It was low on power. Was making that noise. Maybe it's the EGR valve. Let's put one of those on. No, that didn't fix it. Maybe it's just low on power. I read somewhere online on a forum by an armchair mechanic that said that the fuel filter is probably clogged. Well, we put one of those on and that didn't fix it either. And finally, it ended up at an auction because somebody threw in the towel and said, I'm done with this car. And they may have found out what finally was wrong with it, the turbo. I can tell from the noise, guys. I've heard many turbos that have gone out. It only happens under boost. It makes that squalling noise, and when you let off the gas, it stops. They may have gotten a bill estimate on replacing that turbo, and they said, oh, hell no. And it ended up at auction. And here it is today. It's a Humane Society rescue operation. I guess that's what you want to call it. Let's take a look on the underside of the car and see what we see there. Well, I heard a wheel bearing noise when we were traveling along, when we were coming back. I wonder if we don't have a bad wheel bearing. Oh yeah, listen to that, guys. That's the wheel bearing, the hub. So there's a bad hub there. We'll need a new hub there. The underside's not so bad as I would expect for 260,000 miles. There's some seepage here. Might be transmission fluid or something. This is an automatic. But the shift's just fine. Everything works great. I'm really surprised. I was expecting it to be a lot worse. Let's see. A little bit of seepage there. That's not that big of a deal. I don't expect it to be perfect for $800. Let's take a look at the brakes. They're about half gone. Let me check this out here. It doesn't make the noise like the other side did. Okay, so we got a passenger front wheel bearing, or hub is bad. The turbo. So there's the little turbo. It's part of the exhaust manifold. You get it as a whole unit. But I'm not going to take it apart today, but I know from experience that it's bad. So we know that's bad. It needs a hub. There's a catalytic converter. There's a little bit of rust on the fuel tank straps, but they're not, it's just surface rust. That's not bad. The brakes are about 3/4 gone on the back. The hubs are still good. The shocks are not leaking, they're good. Brakes and hub over there is good, wheel bearing. Overall, guys, I'm pretty impressed. A turbo and a wheel hub and maybe a wrap on the body to take care of the crusty paint and maybe some fixings on the interior. Totally drivable car, 800 bucks. By the time I get all this other stuff into it, I'll probably be totaled 1,500 or more, but that's me doing the work. These cars in good shape go for 3 or 4 grand, so it's cheaper than buying one on Craigslist or something and still going to need work. This one will have the work done. I don't know. It's a fun little car. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. What would you guys do in the comments? Let me know down below. What would you do with this? See what you guys say. Let's get this thing back down on the ground and finish talking about it. This side of the car, as far as the paint goes, really isn't too bad. It's the front and that side over there. The clear coat's coming off, guys. That's what's wrong with it. The paint is decent. It's what's wrong is the clear coat. But all the glass is intact and not busted out. And it looks like they've been backed into something, crinkled the paint there. Looks like they've tried to spray paint it. You can see it's blue and dark blue. Light blue, dark blue, or it's lighter shade anyway. Here's the clear coat peeling off. It's really dirty. The dash is dirty, but it's not cracked and beat up. Some of these I've seen before, it just looked like someone took a hammer to it. But this one's decent. The sunroof cover is shot. The front seat is cracked up. A lot of the stuff you can get a used seat bottom on eBay. I can get different things for the interior off of eBay used and just replace them. And again, the clear coat on here on the hood is really bad. It's half gone almost. You could probably pick up an entire hood that's the same color off of eBay for cheaper than it would cost to paint it. It does have a cracked windshield, but I have a connection that does them pretty cheap. The headlights need to be cleaned, resurfaced. The fog light's busted out. A lot of the things that are wrong with this little guy is cosmetic issues besides a turbo and a hub. You know, if I was seeing this car on Craigslist and they wanted $2 grand for it, I would say no way, I'm pass. Got it at auction for 800 bucks, and I can fix the things that are wrong with it, take care of the cosmetic issues. I know friends that have these that have 400,000 miles on them, and the engine still runs good. The rest of the car is about shot, but I think this little guy still has some life left in him. It's kind of like a little kitty that needs a new home. We're going to give him a new home. So if there's any tools or anything you've seen in previous videos, or you want to know what kind of tools I use, check my Amazon affiliates link below. We got them all listed for sale. We have shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and things for sale. Click the link below for that too. We got many more cool videos to come. A lot of projects going on in the shop. A lot of updates. We've made some headway on the Bentley. We finished the Typhoon today, Tyler's Typhoon. So anyways, I look forward to more videos with you guys. Thanks for watching.